we've lost some games like this during the season. Matter of fact, too many of them. And tonight we were able to turn the tide and be the victor in a tough game like this. UT Arlington's a good basketball team. I thought our players did a good job of containing Lonnie McClanahan. He only had 12. He's a very good basketball player and one of the fastest human beings with the basketball I've ever seen. You know, we shot the ball reasonably well, almost 45%. And for us, that's pretty good. We are not a great shooting team. At least we haven't been this year. We hope to change that in the future. But I thought our players played very, very hard and physical. And I was especially happy for Wes Davis, who comes from the Arlington area, who's never beaten UT Arlington in his 4 years with us. So he got him a victory, and I thought he was very, very instrumental tonight. We had a lot of contributions tonight also. You know, these two gentlemen up here, one had 19, one had 15, and of course Wes had 11, as well as Ethan Montalvo. So you know, we shot the ball reasonably well. We held them to, I want to say, 38 or something like that, 39%. And what I tell you guys, if we can shoot in the low to mid 40s and hold the other team at below 40 and be pretty even on the board and not turn it over more than 12 times, we'll have an excellent chance to win. And we turned it over 10, held them to 39%. They out-rebounded us by 3, but it was pretty close. And they did everything I asked them to do today in terms of getting our individual goals in several statistical categories.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll open up to questions for the student athletes only. Please wait for the microphone and identify yourself by your name and your media outlet, at least on your first question, please.
This is Trey Alls from NOLA.com, Times-Picayune. Cameron, this is for you. They were coming back. They had a 12-0 run, and then you kind of stepped up, and I think you scored 7 points there of your 15 with like 2 or 3 minutes left. What kind of changed there to kind of get you involved in the offense?
There wasn't really a change. Coach Casper drew up a play, well, not necessarily a play, but just a motion where I run the baseline. Earlier in the second half, we were kind of missing it, kind of shooting long shots and not really attacking the basket. But I think it was with a 4-minute media, Coach sat us down and told us to look baseline. Cam is wide open baseline, and we executed.
Next question, here to the right, your left alley.
Joe Vizzelli, San Marcos Daily Record for Cam. You know, it seemed like whether it was Walker or even Bilbao, you guys were very aggressive in taking it to the basket. Did you feel confident going in that you could score inside against this team?
Early on, I think I was like 2 for 7, and that was going to the hole and avoiding contact. And in the clutch, I didn't, why avoid if you've been missing all game? So just take the hit and try to finish was my main focus when attacking.
Emani, similar question to Cam. You seem to be very aggressive as well. You know, whether it was Walker or Bilbao was on you, you know, really weren't hesitating. You were pretty confident to take the shot.
Yeah, I just wanted to be very aggressive for my team and, you know, try to help us get this victory. Just keep being aggressive in the zone because I didn't want them trying to attack us and be passive. We had to attack the zone, and that's through the middle.
Go ahead, Trey.
Emani, looking ahead to UL Lafayette, what does it take to beat them? What do y'all have to do to get past them?
We have to handle they have a similar half-court trap defense, and we have to handle that well. We also need to contain their big man, Sean Long, and we have to, you know, rebound and defend like how we're supposed to. Hold them to about what Coach says, 40% or below.
Next question to the left.
So Luke Johnson with the Acadian Advocate. Cameron, when they went on a 12-0 run, what did you guys do to weather that and overcome that?
Just come together as a group, a collective group, and just tell each other to settle down. We got this. We've been up, I think, the whole game, and not to let it slip away. Just continue playing ball the way we were playing ball.
Back over here.
For either one of you, you guys have been in these situations, like Coach said, in these close games, and you know maybe they've kind of slipped away from you. But what made the difference tonight to be able to get it done and close out a game like this?
Definitely, we executed. In the past, we didn't execute as well on offense. Maybe missed a box out or made a turnover. But tonight, we executed well in the clutch when it mattered.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Okay, guys, we're all set with you. You can head back to the locker room. Someone back here will come back.
Tell the guys we're not going to stay there for the game, okay?
We'll now open it up to questions for the head coach.
Grant McKinley, UTA Shorthorn. Coach, how much emphasis did you put on guarding Lonnie McClanahan for this game?
That's a great question. That was a lot of emphasis. Lonnie McClanahan and Johnny Hill beat us with their penetration the last two games. And we when we were at UTA, we were up on them, I want to say 55-54, and they scored the next 11 with 3 minutes to go, and they outscored us 11-0 to end the game. And then at our place, they were up on us, but we closed the gap with just a few minutes to go, and then they had another run. And this time, we were up on them, and they closed the gap, and then we had a run. But really emphasizing not letting Lonnie McClanahan either score or penetrate to set up scores for others. That was huge. Obviously you watch UTA a lot, Lonnie not only scores, he'll penetrate and throw that ball up, and they dunk it a lot. We couldn't have that if we were going to win. We had to keep him out of the paint as much as we could. And I thought tonight this was our best job of doing it in 3 games.
Additional questions? Sliding over to Trey.
Coach would ask Cameron there about UL Lafayette. What problems do they pose for y'all, and how do you get past that?
Lafayette may be the most, maybe at least going into the last 5-6 games of the season, they might have been playing the best basketball. Them and Georgia State, they both ended up really strong. They do a good job with their team, and he's got some quickness. He's got some size with Sean Long, who I think's is going to be a pro player. Anybody who's that big and can shoot that well has got a chance. And so they got size to rebound with, and Jay Wright is a very quick point guard. They got some good shooters to go along with. I always say if you have a good point guard and a good big man and surround them with some pretty good players, you have a chance to go away, and I think they have that. They have a good point guard, and they have a good big man, a very good big man. And, we played them better at our place than we did at their place. I told our players that was the one time I felt like you quit on me. When we were leading them for about 10, maybe 11 minutes, and then they went to a half-court trap. And, all we did was take our eyes off the ball, and Emani let 2 passes go through his hands. Caven Tilbury let 1, and all of a sudden they're ahead of us by 4 instead of down 2. And so they play good D. They're a good team. I would say going into the last 5 games of the season, Georgia State and Lafayette were playing the best basketball, and we're going to have to play very aggressive yet intelligently to beat this team because they're well coached, they're good, and they got a lot of talent.
Going all the way to the back, Coach.
Garrett Mansfield from the Sunbelt Rise program. Coach, can you talk to me a little bit about your team's experience in the tournament thus far and in the city of New Orleans?
Well, Texas State has treated us well, allowing us to come a day early and enjoying the experience. I appreciate that from our athletic administration. And, we fed the team real well at a good seafood restaurant, and I told them we'll do it again tonight after you win the game. It's that or McDonald's, and they chose that. But no, we've done well. The Hilton is a nice hotel and that we're staying at, and they've got to enjoy that. I always feel like, when I was at Incarnate Word, a Division II school, my administration wouldn't let me go to the tournament until the day before. And finally, I said, "Hey, we're going 2 days before. Fire me." And we went 2 days before, and we broke a 4-game losing streak. And
Did they fire you?
no, they didn't do that. And coming 2 days before, coming in late Tuesday night, I think was real helpful to our cause, And the players are, enjoying themselves, and New Orleans is a great place to visit. They're taking it all in, and the food is great.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Joe here in the front.
Coach, you always talk about having, 2 or 3 guys scoring in double figures. And you had 4 guys tonight. But Cam Naylor, he's had an up and down year. How big was he in the end of this game and being able to point in your favor?
If you look at that, Caven's been playing very, very well. You know that. And he's 0 for 5, 2 rebounds in 23 minutes and 2 turnovers. And then Cam steps up. and really plays very well. Of course, he didn't have as many rebounds as I'd like for him to have. It's amazing that Wes Davis led us in rebounding with 9. But he hit some big shots. Both of them hit some big shots. And it's amazing what the ball going through the hole will do for you. And sometimes it's no other thing other than we shot the ball well tonight. And I think that's a big part of the answer. We shot it. 44.6% is a good night for us this year. We haven't had too many games over 50. And everybody thinks that, this is why I emphasize the defense, because, I've always told my players, we don't know how we're going to shoot the ball, but we can defend. We can rebound. So I think we did a good job defending them, and we shot it better than normal tonight, and that's my explanation for the victory.
Unfortunately, that's the last question we can have now.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Coach.
you very much.
I appreciate it.
Sure. Texas State did an outstanding job tonight. I think their defense was very tough and physical. They did a great job containing the paint and preventing Lonnie from turning the corner and getting in there. Obviously, they scouted us very well, and they're just a tad bit tougher than us. Tonight, I think, is what it comes down to. They did a great job. You got to give them the credit. They handled our pressure. We tried to press them pretty much the entire game. We only had 2 steals, and they only turned it over 10 times. So that's a credit to them and their guards, and how calm and composed they played. But you got to give them credit. I'm disappointed for our 4 seniors especially. They've given a lot to the program. They've worked extremely hard. They've helped us win a lot of games. We're going to miss these guys. It's obviously it's the worst day probably of their life, or one of it. The last day at your senior year when you lose that last game. I still remember the day I lost my last game, and it's an awful feeling. But these guys are going to go on and do great things. 2 of our seniors have already graduated, and Lonnie and Anthony are on pace to graduate at the end of the spring, and so we're excited about that. And I know they're going to go on and do great things for the university and for themselves.
Thank you. We'll now open up to questions for the student athletes only. And once again, please identify yourself by name and media outlet. Questions? Over to the left.
Cassie Logan, UT Shorehorn. Lonnie, just talk about those last few minutes and what was going through your mind.
Obviously, it wasn't the outcome we all wanted. Just that being my last game, that's the only thing that was going through my mind. That's pretty much it.
And talk about guys like Eric and like Herb, who you're leaving behind, and what they'll leave on the program.
And I think all the freshmen have a bright future ahead of them if they keep at the pace they're at now. They're not playing like freshmen. I believe they're playing like upperclassmen. But if, like I said, if they keep at the pace there, I believe they'll be pretty good.
Lonnie, what did they do so well defensively that made it hard for you to get active in the game?
I think Coach Cross said it best. They just tried to pack the paint, make sure I couldn't get in there, do what I usually do, and I think they did a good job of it tonight, obviously, with the outcome of the game. They did a pretty good job with it.
Additional questions? Go ahead.
Eric, you guys had a 12-0 run in that second half, late in the second half. You had a couple threes there. What sparked that run?
Coach told me to bring the energy when I got back in. So every time I got in, I tried to bring the energy, just fight for the seniors. That's basically it.
And how beneficial of an experience is this for you as a freshman to get some playing time in a tournament?
It's big time. Like, I know I'm a freshman. There's a lot of guards that don't get this chance at the big school they are. I think it's big time for me to play as a freshman.
Was the pressure of knowing this is a one and done have any effect on you at all?
Yeah. I feel not too good, so it's gonna make me fight harder next year. Make me work hard over the summer.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Okay, guys, you're all set. You can head back to the locker room. We have someone back there who can get you back. Jared's out back. Now we'll open up questions for Coach Cross.
Joe Vizzelli, San Marcos Daily Record. Coach, you went on the 12-0 run there, and then they were able to get it inside to Cam Naylor. Did you anticipate them trying to do that in that situation, try to get it inside like they did?
I thought we had them at that point. I felt like the momentum was going. It really hurt us, though. They got it right in there. I believe they got an and one, and they just kept going at us. And, our big guys couldn't stop them. They were going at them. We were straight up, and they'd go right through them and finish. And, I was hoping that our guards would drop down and maybe back tip it from behind, but we weren't quite active enough. Our guards probably were a little bit worn down from the game, but yeah, they did a great job. I mean, we were pretty active as a team, and we had them stymied there, and we just couldn't finish it off. It was a foul, or they get an offensive rebound, or they finish it right at the end. We were guarding, but we couldn't get the stops that we needed to down the stretch.
It's kind of, all three games have been fairly similar, especially the first game that you played during the regular season and this game. But tonight they were able to get it done, whereas in that first game, the first two games you got it done. What made the difference, do you think, in them being able to get this one?
I think they were a little bit tougher than we were, is the bottom line. Our depth has been hurt a little bit with injuries to Johnny Hill and Drew Charles. But you got to give credit to them for what they did and how tough and physical they were, because to be honest, they did a great job taking us out of our sets. It was hard for us to run our half-court sets because they were doing such a good job denying our passes, and it broke us down. And so there was a lot of standing on our part offensively, and we looked a little bit confused because we couldn't run those sets. So you just got to give them the credit. I think they wanted it. They were tougher, and they got it done.
Moving over to the left now.
Coach, you mentioned that they scouted you pretty well. What was the game plan if Lonnie wasn't going to be able to get into a rhythm early in the game?
Well, that's a hard one. If Lonnie isn't playing great basketball with the roster we're down to right now, it's going to be hard for us to be successful. Coach Casper's a smart guy. I think he knows that. If you can stop Lonnie McClanahan, there's limited options, and they did a great job on that. The next thing you have is, if you shut him down, now you got to defend the three against us, and I think they did a pretty good job with that. And if we're not hitting shots, if guys aren't jumping up and hitting shots, then it's going to be tough. I think we hurt ourselves a little bit because the lead got stretched out, and then our guys took bad shots, and that's something we talk about. We show them on film all the time, but they got to be disciplined enough to not take those shots. And when you take bad shots, it usually leads to fast breaks on the other end, and it's almost like a turnover. And we had 4 or 5 of those in the second half that really hurt us.
Either one.
Coach, talk about guys like Julian Harris and Courtney Austin, who maybe haven't seen the court as much this season. Talk about how they were a part of your game plan early.
Yeah, we were going to try, obviously going in, we felt like we had to pressure them and try and create some turnover. So we knew that we needed a deeper bench, so we wanted to play those guys. Courtney got a few minutes in our previous game. He knocked down the 3-point shot for us. He's a very good defender, is really active, but he's played limited minutes for us. So we wanted to get him in there and try and save some of our guys. We picked up a couple early fouls and, had to get some new guys in there because I think Jamel had 2 fouls and a couple other, Caitlin, I think, had 2 fouls. So we had to, play guys that probably hadn't seen a whole lot of minutes. Same with Julian. Julian played a lot early on in the season, was a big part of some of our wins against Bradley and some teams like that. He's played a little bit more here the last couple of games since the injuries, and, he did a solid job tonight.
Coach, Eric had a couple of big plays today. Just where do you see his ceiling as a player going forward?
Well, I mean, he's a very talented guy that can pass, dribble, and shoot it. Definitely one of our best passers. He has to get stronger. I mean, y'all can see that. I think the physicalness of Texas State maybe bothered him a little bit. I think he's a guy that's going to get way stronger over the next couple of years. He's improved dramatically with his defense since the year began. That's an area where he has to improve. But he's a guy that has a high ceiling because of his quickness, because of his passing ability, his ability to drive and shoot. So I'm excited about the future with him. I think he's going to do some great things for us.
We have time for one more if we have one.
What kind of players will you look to recruit in the offseason to prepare for next year?
We have one scholarship on paper right now. We need the toughest guy we can possibly find, and that's the criteria. I told our guys on the way over here, you need to ask yourself one question: is this guy tough? If the answer is yes, recruit him. If it's no, let's recruit the next guy. So we have to find somebody, and we need an inside guy. So we need somebody that has some toughness, some some fight, some competitiveness in them, and as well as some size and strength. So we got our hands full. We got to go find us a good one, though.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.